There is a distinction between creating parcels that, under a planned development, use all of the parcel or other portions of the parcel normally set aside as open space in order to meet the minimum parcel size requirements of the zoning district. And as an example, if you're creating 7,000 acre parcels, 7,000 square foot parcels as the minimum parcel size, and in fact you want to create 6,000 square foot parcels for design reasons, under the county's clustering or density averaging provisions, you have to have 7,000 square feet of land per parcel. Now, the board has agreed that we will not count roadways for those purposes. So at your last meeting, the meeting before Murphy's development, there we had an open space parcel that also included the roadways. And the open space parcel was what we used to calculate the density averaging portion. We did not use that portion beneath the roadways because they actually got conveyed to a homeowners association. So we didn't count that area because there was more than enough area in the balance of the open space to meet the density averaging requirements. If there is a situation where it is a gross subdivision of the land, and they are creating, as an example, 5-acre parcels throughout, the county ordinances allow the use of gross acreage currently. So you can have a situation where you have a gross acreage of 5-acre parcels. Each one of them arithmetically is 5 acres, but they have less than that in usable space because they are otherwise burdened by easements or other things on their title. So in the case of if you were going to create a homeowners association and grant a fee title ownership of that roadway, the parcel would have to be 5 acres outside of the roadway. If you are creating a parcel that includes an easement, that acreage is counted as long as it is only for purposes of, say, access, or it could be, fire access easement or a water easement or something else. We don't discount that acreage. As a matter of fact, that's one of the issues that the Subdivision Map Act rewrite will be bringing to you shortly. That was one of the issues that remains to be problematic the way our ordinances are written. We acknowledge gross acreage versus net acreage. And there can be problems with that, especially relative to the provision of private wells and septic tanks versus where you have public water and sewer, so there's no problem with having physically enough area to fit all the components on a parcel. So if you had a 1-acre parcel that had a third of it tied up with a road easement, you could reach the point where there may not be enough room for a septic tank on that parcel, or it could be very constrained. So that's an issue that's separate from the issue of density transfer. So there is a distinction there, and I'm sorry for the long answer, but if you're creating parcels that meet the minimum parcel size, that is not a transfer, and this rule and those types of decisions don't apply. It's really a subdivision ordinance issue that certainly you're going to be able to look at shortly.
Is there anyone else who would like to testify on this issue? We'll close the public hearing and bring it back for comment. Bill?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions, Bob. On this, I was a little confused when I read this. And if you had 100 acres of ground someplace, and you had 90 acres of lake on it, and 10 acres of development, you couldn't use that land as you wanted to cluster the buildings?
You would be allowed to cluster only to the extent that you have hard or dry ground
The 10
calculated
acres.
the clustering on.
Yeah, the 10 acres.
Yeah.
So the rest wouldn't count.
No, it wouldn't count for clustering purposes.
Okay, then I'm a little confused on the open space using for clustering. You got actual open space because you got a reservoir or whatever you're going to have. It's never going to be used unless they take the reservoir So you actually limit a whole bunch of land for clustering, which I thought was the purpose of a lot of development nowadays, was to be able to cluster. So you'd be denied this extra land that you could actually use for open space because it's not classed as open space anymore. Now the other question I have is, down here where you say, in this thing in the bold print, beneath normal maximum water heights of lakes, rivers, and streams. I question the stream part. Up here in this country, you could have a lot of ground being covered up by, if you're going to mark high water where the water is, during a normal year, or is this a high water, exceptionally wet year? Or how are you deciding what part of the stream cannot be used as a cluster, even though most of the time it probably is going to be dry anyway?
Well, again, we are talking normally those streams that flow. Okay, so first of all, we're not talking ephemeral streams. We're talking lakes, rivers, and streams. So typically, the blue line is shown on the USGS map. They flow constantly, and usually Department of Water Resources would have some information on that. I'm less concerned, in all honesty, about streams. I think the acreage is probably going to be less than significant one way or the
Well,
other.
it depends on where you divide the line of the normal height, maximum water height. That could be a lot of country. If you're supposed to run an acre foot during normal times, but you see right here it says normal maximum. Well, I mean, I'm not sure how you come up with that. Come up with a definition of stream of normal maximum water. Seems like it's kind of questionable how you would say, okay, how you would mark that on a map and say this is no longer open space, cannot be used for clustering, even though the thing is only at that point maybe a week out of the year.
If streams are a problem for you,
Well, open space to me is open space. If you got it, you can use it, but this says no, you can't. So how about if the developer was to say, okay, I got these 3 ponds out here, I can't use them. I'm taking them out.
we don't regulate what
Well, they're
people
dry,
choose to do with their land. Okay, I mean, to that extent, if someone has a pond that they choose to dispose of, that's fine. There are always choices.
So this actually would limit a lot of property development into clusters because they can't use the natural features on their land that are wet.
Only if they're proposing to cluster.
Well, I realize that, but that's what we're talking about. And the purpose of a lot of development nowadays is to cluster that can, all the utilities all kind of close together and all that sort of stuff. So to me, it seems like it's a little bit, sounds like it's against a lot of things that people have been for. To me, it's open space, reservoir, whatever, it's still unusable. That's all.
No, just so, the view of the county, or at least the staff, I should say, because apparently, well, I'll say the county, because they direct us to do this too, is that the issue is not the ultimate use of the water. Okay, that one clearly is open space and use. The heart of the matter is whether you are taking the theoretical density that is beneath the water and then moving that onto dry land. And as you can imagine, the problem could be very quickly if you've got your 90 acres of beneath the lake and your 10 acres of land, and you've got public water and sewer, you could very quickly well overburden the dry land because you've got so much density that you could push on there that you could create things that are way out of the scope and nature of the allowable uses within the county. And it is, we've got the analogous on dry land is what do you do when you've got huge areas of solid rock? We've got areas up in the high country that have absolutely no technical development associated with them right now because they're generally designated for, say, for argument, future single-family residential. And we do see situations where through clustering, what you do is you take 4 or 5 acres in an area that is usable, and you take 200 acres worth of theoretical density and you shove it down onto this very small piece of usable ground. And you create something that is probably well beyond the scope and intent of the general plan. That's something that this board, our board, is going to struggle with in the future. The issue got raised particularly because of water, because everyone pretty much agrees at this point, being able to build over these larger lakes is not going to happen. So, I
Well,
guess
that's the other part of this thing I thought was kind of interesting, is the fact that the problem that's faced is that Tulloch only in this county that has property underneath the water. But all the restrictions you're going to put on Tulloch are now going to be on the whole county, where the specific problem here is what land lies underneath the water in Tulloch, which is a separate problem that should maybe ought to be dealt separately if possible. I don't know, but to say that, well, the whole county's going to do this now, all the land you have under lakes, streams, ponds, creeks, rivers is no longer your property, even though you may own underneath it, and you cannot use it to your advantage.
well, respectfully, that's not correct on a couple of points.
Okay.
Number one, it's not correct on a couple of points. Okay. Number one, there are other lands beneath lakes that are privately owned. Salt Springs Reservoir over near Copperopolis is a privately owned lake, and there are public lands as well as private lands, and the same situation would exist there. There are obviously other areas above Tulloch that, where you've got larger river.
When I said Tulloch, I said that Tulloch is special because it has a huge, high-priced subdivision around the lake. And each individual owns a whole bunch of individual lots there. There's a whole many of people that have little pieces that are covered up by water. Salt Springs Reservoir is owned by about 6 people, maybe, if that's that many. And that's it. And so they have to go through a whole bunch of more loops if they were to make that into a subdivision, which I don't believe that's part of the situation there. But now you said that every pond, every lake is now off limits for the people who own the property to use that land as an advantage if they would like to cluster something up there.
Well, they just can't use the water.
Well, the
As
land's
a
not.
density, land is land and water is water.
Right.
And, I think it was ridiculous that the county ever got into a density transfer. Personally, you're not restricting the growth, you're just, I think, recognizing that the water is the water, and it has nothing to do with the developability of the parcel.
They're not talking about water here, they're talking about the land underneath the water.
But
I mean, the water just happens to be there temporarily.
what is the value of the land under the water in terms of development?
Well, it's the value of the
How
land
do you
people
protect,
develop, I'll
how
tell
do you
you that.
protect the lake
We,
if you're giving value to the land? To me, that, it's like
it's
saying,
used to be, it's not land.
let's use the sky above the parcel for my open space part of the project. I don't know. I don't know how we ever got into such a ridiculous
Oh, I agree.
thing.
The-
Poor
the-
Lake
That's
Salt,
it.
just leave it alone.
The simple answer would be, in theory, when the county does its general planning in the future, would be to look carefully at those areas they are going to apply usable density to, and make sure that it is proportional to the amount of actual use you want to occur within the area. And, we're dealing with a 1982, 86, or 96 plan, depending upon when you want to look at it. And it is not as sophisticated as the needs that currently exist. So,
Just one quick one.
This is addressing just
And
one
then I'm
small.
done with this topic, because that's what I want here to deal with. What's going on over in Tuolumne County on the other side of the border? They're on this same kind of thing. They have it or they don't have it? I know the best development over there is on this side.
They have highly restricted the ability to develop along the lake at all.
Right.
Yeah, they have allowed only large parcels. So,
But how they treat the water or the land?
I don't believe that, I don't know
changes.
Staff, would you ask for the staff recommendation?
Yes. Page 3.
Pass a motion finding the project is statutorily exempt under the guidelines section 15061B3. Projects have no potential for significant effect on the environment and are therefore not subject to CEQA. And secondly, I would suggest you do a single motion. Pass a motion authorizing the chair to sign a resolution recommending the board of supervisors adopt the resolution for project 2008-091 general plan text amendment based upon findings set forth in the staff report as amended.
Do I have a motion to adopt recommendations 1 and 2? Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 3-1. And the next item on the agenda is public comment period, agency comments. Again, anyone in the audience who would like to briefly discuss a land use item or anything related to that, please come forward. All right.
Madam Chair, couple of things. On the wall behind Bill, we have, for the board and now the commission's use, posted what is the current time. I think that's the current date. We're going to try to update that. We had one in late August, and I believe we have an update on the progress of the general plan, where we are, you see the big red arrow. The consultants are in the process of working through the language, trying to develop a set of alternatives to present to the board so they can be aware of what the range of options of future uses are within the general plan. We're going to try to keep that current. There has been about a month and a half to 2 months slip in the processing of this general plan because we've had a couple of extra things tossed in that have taken more time than anticipated. We've got the water element, we've got the economic element. While neither of those are taking excessive amounts of time on the part of our consultants doing the work, there are integration issues that just do take time. So that's slipping slightly, but not too bad. We think we're still moving along in pretty good shape, and hopefully we'll have something to you before very long. This is This is not only my last planning commission meeting of the year, this is my last planning commission as planning director. And while I thank you certainly for your comment that it's going to be a sad day, I suppose that depends on your perspective. I don't have to wear my tie all the time and come to meetings, but I would like to thank the commission. It is a peculiar thing that we have here. I've always tried to say that planners are supposed to represent 3 points of view. The individual who has an application directly in front of you, the interests of those people who may be affected by that directly, and then the general public as just the broad mass, and it's kind of a schizoid approach to things, and it sometimes puts us in what appears to be a debating or an adversarial setting. And certainly it sounds like that from time to time, and that's great. That's the good discussion. But I want you to know, from my perspective, it has never been adversarial. I've always appreciated the discussion and the opportunity to work with you fine citizens to deal with the needs of the county. So I congratulate you and encourage you to continue doing that. And there'll be somebody else here who will, in fact, argue with you, and they'll keep the debate going in life. So first and foremost, thank you all, and good luck with the general plan next year.
Thank you, Bob.
Madam Chair, John Taylor, Interim Community Development Director. I just want to thank Bob for his efforts. Also let you know that the recruitment for our planning director is going forward. The county administrator and the HR director have retained an executive search firm. We're doing a fairly broad recruitment. It's not going as quickly as I would like. I'd like to be able to introduce somebody to you very quickly. expect the close of the process to be first week of February, thereabouts. And we're hoping that we can swiftly screen, interview, and hire, appoint a planning director. In the interim, your staff, myself, and planners will be attending your meetings and doing hopefully the yeoman level of work that Bob has been doing all these many years. So we're not leaving you unattended. Do the best we can in the interim.
Thank you. Well, on behalf of the commission, if you didn't so richly deserve this retirement, I'd be screaming and yelling and begging for you to stay. But I can't deny that you certainly have earned some sanity time for your future. You have been such a professional through all the ups and downs we've had, and of course land use always causes some pretty heated moments, but your integrity, your calm demeanor during some very difficult times really helped to, I think, steer the department and the staff. We felt that you were always there no matter what was going on, that you were going to pick up the pieces and not falter, and you proved that you could do that, and you did do that, and not to mention the fact that you've got a great sense of humor and just are enjoyable to be around too. So we wish you well, but just keep in mind that we're all going, oh, why is this happening at this particular time? So, but we'll let you go, knowing that you've got greater things to do ahead of you. So, very good luck and happy holidays. Anyone else like to say anything? I guess then.
I would, yeah, I'd like to say something. I appreciate you being here to help me through this planning department ID commissioner, because it was all green to me. It was totally from the business end, never any kind of government work. And sparring with you has always been friendly, and I like the idea of having somebody you can argue with, and nobody takes it home. And she and I retired from PG&E in 1993 at 53. Let me tell you something about retirement, in case you don't know. The best thing for you to do is take the TV and throw it out the door. And with that, your life will be so fulfilled of doing things that you can do. And now, when you look at a schedule to go hunting someplace, there's no limitation when you can go. Or if you want to go fishing, you go when you feel like it. But the other problem with being retired, you ask yourself, where in the world did I ever find anything to do when I work, because I cannot find time to do anything now that I'm retired. And with that statement, congratulations, you made that big step into the most important part of your life, because now it's yours and nobody else's. Yeah, thank you again, Bob, for being on board with me, trying to get through this whole system. Thank you.
Bravo. And with that, we are adjourned.